actually there. Right? So that's how it is. So you can see all the products which are there. So we have ODBC extract, we have Tally API integration, and then we have got some advanced analytic modules. And these are our references which are going to be part of this thing. And then you can see various other things. You can see various blogs about our company, about various things. So, sir, I think we can start, and I start with my demo. I would like to welcome Manish, who's the largest head of Vienna. And I'll just start with the demo, and then you can ask me more and more questions, right? So Tally API integration, sir, this is my original demo. And this presentation is for whom exactly? It is for the mobile app developers, business intelligence tool providers, GST practitioners, and collection agents or bill receivable agents. So what is the problem statement we are looking to address? So we are looking to integrate with Tally on a large scale with a cloud database. The API integration should be for the entire GST database based on the client specs. Now, in the custom module, which I have actually given to you, which is the JSON sample, which you would have got in case you have registered for the demo. So please do register for the form because you will get the custom code which is there. Now, this particular report, sir, please do not lay much emphasis because this has got a custom HSN hierarchy. The client wanted the HSN hierarchy not by the Tally. So in Tally, we use something called a get info hierarchy function from hierarchy function to get the HSN details from various levels of hierarchy. But in this particular case, the client wanted the hierarchy on its own terms. So although most of the things are correct in this particular demo, in this particular code, but the hierarchy functions are we basically would prefer if you use get info from Tally, right? So this thing is there. Just one second. Then sir, API integration. So for the entire GSN. Now, a whole problem which we are looking to address is that how do you work with Tally with 2 GB or 4 GB RAM? So basically, your client will not be in a position to actually, take in a very high-end machine. So here we are looking at is a scheduled extract and extraction with complete security, but we are also looking at incremental extract. So how exactly do you work with the same? So this is what it is. Now, what is the value proposition for the client? You basically are eliminating a separate database install on the client machine. That is the first thing. Now, there are various ways of taking the Tally data to the cloud. One is a connector. When you use a connector, you extract the data through what we call an ODBC extract or a SOAP extract. A SOAP extract basically means that Tally gives a daybook extract of a various reports. You can have an XML extract. So for that, again, you need to use a connector and this thing. Or you can alternatively make custom collections and make a report. And after exporting the data, you can do a Google sync. That means you can sync it with the Google Drive or the Azure Drive. So all this you're eliminating. You're reducing the data extraction times. Now, how this data extraction times have been minimized in this particular cases, we have in our particular module, we have extracted the data from the raw Tally schema. So in the final product, what we did was we simply did the raw data extract from the Tally schema. We did not take any custom collections or custom reports from it. Why? Because we wanted to reduce the extraction load on the Tally. So we simply extract the data and then on the database or the Azure cloud, we actually code the business logic. And we are looking to reduce the maintenance time. So the entire thing will work based on what we call a TCP. We are raising the security and you should be able to handle very large loads. So in the final product, actually, we have used something called a loop call object, which extracts the data from all the companies at one load. And the module has been made in such a way so that you can actually run the Tally and simultaneously keep on extracting the data, as the Tally is working. And it should be very easy to deploy. So in the final version, actually, this is going to be simply a TCP, which will be deployed. And, and then for this, there's a ready-made extraction process and there's an incremental data load process also happening. So what do we offer? You see, you're looking at lower coding times, faster data access, easy to use desktop and server applications, and a secured access. So team, we have got multiple ways of taking the Tally to your database. We believe that the API is the securest way of doing it, and it's the most scalable way of doing it, because you're basically, keeping the system separate, and it's also GST and the government compliant. So that is what something is. So with this, I come down to my demo with for the API design and the design of the token access and the port access. So for those of you who have logged into the session, who have actually registered for the session, you would have got this particular file, which is actually a JSON sample report, right? So this is the entire code, and you deliberately kept it in one TXT file. In this particular TXT file, so each customer of yours will actually give you what we call a third-party API detail. So this is my header detail, so from where you get the authentication token. This is my body, and this is the response which comes, and within this response is the authorization token. This authorization token thereafter then goes into the header of the final report which you're posting. So there was a particular action for saving. Now this is the invoices detail, and this is then a sub report within it. So this is for those people who are conversant with Tally. This is my voucher detail, and then this is my voucher inventory details. Now you can design it your own way. This is a report and a sub report. So this is a parent report. This is a child collection. So I'm not getting into the format of the API integration, because you can design your own API, right? And then once that has been posted, then what you get is a message ID, message success, or a failure. Is that correct? Any questions, team, up till now? Any questions from anybody? So please do type it in the chat box. So now, in order to understand this particular code, what you need to do is you need to go down to, this is our item, and then this is, so basically this code, final report function, and the JSON output report, these two are the functions. So this actually gets you the token, and this is my final report function, which actually posts the report. Right. So if you see the demo, which you would have all got as part of your, as part of the whoever has registered from it, so you will get this. So now what I do here is I go to my JSON sample and I copy this. And once I copy this, I go to edit and I go and find, and I click on final report function. And then I say find next. So I go down to my final report function, which is a function at the bottom of the code. Now here you will see a lot of code where there is string, and this thing is, so this code was actually, what it does was it picks up the display from date and display to date in your Tally. So I'm running right now Tally in the developer module, and it does what we call an incremental data load. So it goes by incremental. The reason why we had to do an incremental data load from Tally is because we needed to extract the entire set of data, because we did not know how to handle deletes. So we handled one. So what we did was we took the first day, then the second day, then the third day, then the fourth day, and we kept on extracting it. Now, once it is, this counter is moving, now you go to the second collection, which is the TSPL branch customers one. Okay. In the TSPL branch customers one, again, I go and edit and find it. So what you guys have to do it is that we have made the code. So you have to design how your API is going to be designed. So I'll tell you how the trick is. And it is simply fit in your reports into it. Now, when I go down to TSPL branch customers one, I go down, I go down, I go down. So I'm actually looking for that report, right? So I come here down to this collection here. TSPL branch customers one. Now, when I get down to this TSPL branch customers one, I look at the data source, which is the HTTP JSON, and this is my invoices API, which is what it is calling. So if you look at my third-party API details, which the current client has given, now come down to this place. So in the post, this is the URL which is there. So you will call in your JSON integration this particular URL as the data source. Any questions up till now? You can ask me any questions which you have. Okay. Then you will request the report which is to be finally posted in the remote request. Now here you will see there is an optional collection, which is the TSPL branch 01 refresh colon counter not equal to 0. Why we put it is because we did it in a loop. That means we loaded the first date's data, the second date's data, the third date's data, and so forth. If you do not put this optional collection, which has a counter not equal to 0, then what will happen is it will only post the first date's data. Now what happens is, so this is something there. And once the report has been posted, the resultant output comes in form of an object. It is stored as a message, as a string, and it's stored here. Is it clear? Now I go down to my sample report 1. This is my report. Edit, and I find, and I say Control V, and I go down. Now, when I go down, now let's look at this particular report. In this particular report, there are various headers. So if I look at it here, you might want to retain it or you might not want to retain it. My whole idea is you can use it. You simply use a tally serial number and you get something called the get link info and use it. But if I look at this particular case, now this is my IP, which is for the posting. Right. So here, I just 1 second, sorry. So here I come in export header. This is, so this IP actually what we get it is from what we call the watchmyip.com. Then the remaining ones are straight application, JSON, client, CS, secret, and so forth, so forth, so forth. Now, when I come down to this, the export header, the authorization token, this is coming in form of what we call a function. Is it clear? The rest all were actually static. Now, rest all we can all manipulate. Now, come to the second portion in this particular report is when I look into the third party details, here he went on to say action save invoices. Is my understanding clear? So invoices is my parent tag and action save is another part of this report. So action save actually when I do it is here, I go down to part of this core report. And here what I do is I put in action with a JSON tag XML. And then below this part, then I had another detail, GST and details. And I deleted the XML tag. So XML tag was deleted because you do not want to have this, this bracket. Any questions up till now from anybody? Okay. Now I go down to the third portion of the report. Now I need to get this particular token from it. So I told you for getting this particular token, what I do is I go up and I have to go to final posting function. So I go and click here. So anyone who has registered for this would have got this JSON sample along with the required videos, right? So the videos of how to run it is actually already there on YouTube. So I think it is quite a big hit. So I'll show you the video on how to exactly to run it, but we need to understand how to understand this particular code. Now I go and find out this final posting function. I go down. So I go down. This is my final posting function. This is the function for getting the token. Right. Now, the way this particular token was designed was that we again went on an incremental. So first time the report gets posted, and the second time the report gets posted, third time. Each time there's a different token. This is clear. So what we had designed was we again set up a counter. Okay. And this counter again ran between display from date and display to date. Any questions up till now? Okay. Now I go down to this collection because I'm going to walk down to this collection and this is a sub collection with it. So I'll actually explain how this whole thing works. So I go here, I go to Control C and I go up and I edit and I say fine and I say Control V and I go down. This is my collection. Now this collection was dictated by this portion of the API details. Now you see, for getting the token and the response, I have a URL, which is a authenticate, content type, JSON, authentication, date and time. but this is the input report based on which I need to get the output. And this is the response which will come from the cloud. Message ID, message, then data is a sub collection, and there's an authorization token and an expiry date. In time. Is it clear? So the way to understand this particular code is, I have this particular token, this header, data source. I export this particular header. This is my authentication date and time, which is here. Clear? This is my client ID. And I request based on this particular report. So this report is what I will look into the next. Because these inputs have to come from somewhere, right? Now this report can, once this report has been made, you can use an input form or whatever it is, right? So this input will come. Now, again, after each token, I want to have a break. So what I just add this particular code, option TSPL collection 01, counter, get this thing. And this is an optional collection. Now, your output comes in form of an object. You're getting it as a message receipt. You're storing it as a message ID and a message. Is it clear? So this message ID and the message is coming here. Then below this, you have, and the storage is a print date also, right? And then what happens is, then I have a collection below it, which is called data call. So this is the object and this is my collection. So I was walking over this collection in that particular code. I looked at this object data call and I'm storing authorization token as a string, storing expiring data and time as a string. Is it clear? So I'm walking over this collection. I'm storing authorization token and I'm storing expiry date and time. Any questions, anybody? Okay. So this portion of this particular report, then I come down to this is, I have to then go here and I have to go to this particular portion of the report. So how this you can actually test it is simply this thing is, simply click on this. You can click on the developer mode and you get an output like this. So success message ID 1 on this particular date and time. This is my token. This will go as the part of the header. Is it clear? Okay. And it will go between first date and the last date. Now, for those of you who are conversant with Tally, you can use gateway of Tally and you can get the output in terms of the HTTP log. So HTTP log will tell you each particular dates, this thing, but I'll not go over this posting business. I'll explain you how this code has been done because it's working, right? And you can replicate it at your end, because once you get this portion correctly and you have the API method correctly, you simply, whatever you need, you're a banking company, you're a payment company, you're an account receivable company, you have to simply change this GST report MN BI and actually get the entire set of reports. So you can simply post one report after another. This particular code will have all the code related with initial load, incremental load, how the API is to be handled. Is that correct? Any questions, team? Please do ask me if there are any questions. Okay. Now I come down to the last portion of it is, if I'm going down to this particular collection, I'm going down to this particular portion of this report. I go and find, and I say Control B, and I go down to find next, and I go down to this particular report. Now in this particular report, which is a form, I go down to form, I deleted all the XML tags. These are my input user fields. Which was as given in this particular portion of the report. Okay. So, sir, what all we have covered in this particular report is that in terms of posting the data, how is the header designed? Right? How does one get a token from your server? So we have shown the report inputs. Okay. And then how does the token come on a realistic basis? So how do you handle objects and collections for storing the token data? But most of all, you can how to handle the incremental data load between DSP from and DSP2 data. Hello? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any questions?
देखने के लिए टाइम लगेगा, 1 आध घंटा बोलो, आधा 1 घंटा
नहीं सर, इसमें टाइम एक्चुअली लगेगा नहीं, इट विल गो स्क्रीमिंग फास्ट. ये एक्चुअली इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि रिपोर्ट और सब रिपोर्ट के कारण, क्योंकि वो चाइल्ड रिपोर्ट है इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा वो ले रही है. और ये जो सारा का सारा बिजनेस लॉजिक है, ये सर आप डेटाबेस पे कोड कर सकते हो. आप रॉ डेटा निकालो. तो मैं आपको नेक्स्ट स्टेज में मैं आपको रॉ डेटा निकालूंगा, दिखाऊंगा कैसे करना है. ठीक है. तो सर हमारे पास सर एक्चुअली क्या है, रॉ डेटा निकालने के लिए हम लोगों ने क्या किया, हमने 3 पोर्शंस में डिवाइड किया. हमने पूरा का पूरा रॉ डेटा फ्रॉम टैली फॉर गेटिंग द जीएसटी डेटा. ये मेरा वाउचर का डेटा है. और इसमें मैंने जो भी चीजें जो कि मेरे को वाउचर में चाहिए थी जीएसटी के लिए, वो सब पूरा का पूरा निकाल लिया. कंपनी जीएसटी एंड सप्लायर जीएसटी एंड डिस्प्ले फ्रॉम, स्टेट नेम, स्टेट कोड, कैंसिल्ड है कि नहीं है, वॉइड है कि नहीं है, डिलीटेड है कि नहीं है, रेफरेंस स्टेट, रेफरेंस ये, क्योंकि ये आपको जीएसटी या 2A के लिए चाहिए, और वाउचर नंबर. फिर मैंने इधर जो था ये वाउचर इन्वेंट्री डेटा का निकाला. अब इसमें व्हाट वी डिड वाज वी गॉट द स्टॉक आइटम नेम, बट वी कैप्चर्ड एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम द टैली स्कीमा, बिकॉज in the tally schema the GST and details. So for example, if I go down to stock item and if I go down to GST details here, so this is what I need. So for this, based on get info from hierarchy, we extracted the entire GST details from this particular hierarchy, everything which is required in the JSON format. And for getting the GST rate in the which is in the part of the rate details, there's a function called in the tally which is called the get GST rate, which will capture it at this level of hierarchy. So we extracted everything in the voucher inventory data at this level. So if there's anything pending, you can say. So I walk over inventory. I also walk over ledger data. This is a simple TCP file. I'll give you the TCP file. You can run it and I can extract the data. Now at the cloud level, I have to simply link them up with the master ID. And I can make all the reports related with GST at one single go. Okay. Now, sir, with this, I come to the end of my demo. Anyone who wants to test out and extract this particular GST data and test it on the machine, and then of course design the API, please do welcome. I have got other extractions which are part of the which are part of the particular module but it is not part of this particular demo. So I will actually show you. We have extracted the entire set of tally data also, starting with bank allocation, up to the stock item batch inventory details, voucher ledger bills. So all these, JSON extracts are ready with us. You simply need to ask us, give us the TCP, you can extract the data, and you can extract the data in form of JSON or Excel, and then link it up with the cloud or put it into the API and let it forth. With this, sir, I come to the end of my demo. For those of you who are, new, so please do, just to do it, please ask me any questions which you have, and I will be sending you the recorded session, because people who have logged in, I'll be immediately able to send it by email. Please give me your email address so that I can send you the recorded copy of the demo along with the JSON file. Any questions, sir? So this is the one in which we have to sign up, and then automatically this thing. But please give me your details so that I can send you the recorded copy of the demo as well as the JSON file. Any questions? Okay. With this, sir, I want to thank everybody for all your time. I hope you found the session very, very useful. Please do subscribe to our videos in case you like them so that more people can get benefit and you can get immediate details. Our next session would be, sir, from taking this. So for those people who have extracted the data using JSON, then we would be introducing them to how do you get into reporting and analytics, which is an automation of spreadsheets, which will be the next session. That means we will take this particular JSON data, import it into the Power BI database or the module, and then make all your MIS reports. We will also look into GST audit details using Power BI, which is also going to be the second module is there. With this, sir, I want to thank you all. Please do contact us in case you have any queries. Sir, can I close the demo? Any questions?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You have two questions here.
Yes, sir.
One is in the code. What is the advantage using the object methods, which already are getting the response in the collection?
Yes, sir. So what happened was in this particular case, and there could be possibility of improving it. What I did was, what this particular case was, I straight away started off with saying, okay, fine, this is my particular object. And within this, I have a collection.
Fine. That is anyhow you will get as a response from the API, right? So that API variables, whatever you are receiving, that you will get it, right?
Yes,
what
sir.
What is the advantage over using the object in your code?
Over using an object in the code? I mean, what means I was actually
code. Just go to your code where
yes,
you
sir.
define the message ID and message name is a string inside the object.
Let me just go. You want me to go to TSPL branch 01 customer, right?
Yeah, you have the object storage is there, right? Message ID and message.
Yes, just 1 second. You're talking about this collection, right, sir? Yes, this one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, this is how we designed it because we had to use a collection within us. So we had to, within this object, we defined a collection.
Yeah, that I understood.
Yeah.
But is there any when you are giving the remote request and you are getting the response from the API, so those already will get as a response variables. So directly you can access the variables in the same collection, right? Why we need to define those? Means is there any advantage with this so that?
No, sir, I needed to take this particular object in this particular collection, right? So I've got this particular data, right? Which is stored in this particular collection because I have to walk through this and get this data authorization token.
Okay.
So if I look into my authorization token, I'm actually walking over it, walking over this collection. If I'm looking at it, right, I'm actually walking over this collection and then picking it up. Just 1 second. If I look at it this here, right? So this is our walk collection authorization token 01. Right? And then I'm storing it as a string. It comes in as
so
a
always
string.
for each request, it will be one auth token only, right?
So ideally it should be, sir. Yes, sir, you're absolutely correct. So what you said was that the authorization token, for one request, that means if I do it once, right, I should have only one token. Is my understanding correct? That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
No, what we did was we had this voucher and then we had voucher inventory. So this report was taking a lot of time. So what we did it was that we loaded it for each day. So suppose it takes 2 minutes. I don't know whether it will take 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I needed to make the system foolproof. So each time this report was to be posted, I got a new token. But yes, you're absolutely correct that I might not need this loop. I know where you're heading. I mean, I don't probably need this loop. I can simply make a function and post all the reports one by one. Yes, I agree with that. But in this
the second part is like when you have the multiple vouchers. So suppose it is a voucher, voucher ledgers, and voucher inventory, and voucher bills. There are 4 levels are there. So for each one, it will generate one JSN and you will push it, right?
Right. So in this particular case, in this particular sample case, I've stuck for your demo purposes, I've stuck only with what has been given to me as far as the API's details. So this particular API is water and then this is items. So I'm assuming items is voucher inventory because he's asking everything. Yeah. But as far as the complete GST details go, I would just say that, okay, fine, you contact us. I'll give you this thing. So it's voucher inventory. Right. By and large, it's voucher inventory. At the voucher inventory details, you'll get everything. And the voucher ledger details, you get everything.
Means it will go as a 3 different JSON files, not as a one.
In my particular case, yeah. And it'll go flat as straight, yeah.
Fine. Is there any other over advantage like compared to sending the data as an array of data or compared to this individual JSON? Which is faster, this one?
Because, sir, what happens is if you have a report and a sub report and you have got multiple collections, then what happens is it
consumes... So like my question is very straight. Suppose if I'm having 10,000 vouchers are there.
Yeah.
Okay. 10,000 vouchers are like sending 10,000 files, 10,000 JSONs. Each JSON will have the voucher and ledger and item, everything as a one file. One voucher equal to one file versus 10,000 into suppose 4 levels, 4,000 JSONs. So which one is a reliable? Like as per your code, it will be 4,000 JSON. So now, if I'm using the 10,000 vouchers are there, then you will be 40,000 JSONs will be there.
Yes, sir. So that in that particular case, that was the case. But in this particular case, it will go as one lot.
One lot, but there are 3 files, right? Like if I want to capture the bills also, then will be 4 files for each transaction.
So at the bill details, I mean, if I'm looking at it in this way.
No, let's go. Don't dive into that. I'm asking like a general question. So it will go as a 3 JSONs for each voucher you are telling.
No, sir, not 3, for right? Each voucher data. No, sir. This will pick up all the vouchers. Now you can say that I can load it day by day also. But if I don't want to do it day by day, I take out the loop. It will go as one single lot. So in this particular case, I will generate the first token, export the voucher data, the second token, export the inventory data, third token, export the ledger data. Yes, but in the demo which I have given where there was a report and a sub report, then for each given fiscal date, I had a separate token.
Okay. Fine, thank you.
Now, sir, there is one particular thing which you guys might find it useful as how to do the incremental load at the database level, right? Because what can happen is that I extract the data from Tally. So because my display from and display to date could change. So I might simply keep in Tally display from and display to date for just 2 days. And I want to put it in a data warehouse. Is my understanding correct? So this actually at the database level, since we have time left, I'd rather actually just go through it. I'll tell you the trick for it is that I go down to the program and I go to this thing and I store it in a particular database. So this is over and above what we have done, right? And at the database, what I do is I look at ledger add, suppose. It's modifying it. I'm on my cloud actually, so therefore it will take it. And everybody, in case you require, input from me, this is my email address. So please mention. You can try our TCP, and if it suits in your scheme of things, then it should be fine. But if I come down here, then you use something called a merge statement. Now, in this particular case, what we had done was we had taken the incremental load based on master ID and the company name, because I had used a loop call object, so I could take multiple companies and master ID. If it is not present in the target database, I did an insert. And for capturing the deletes, I used again the merge statement to capture, because deletes, we do not get it directly from Tally. So this I'm actually telling it an extra, because this was not part of my original demo. But since we have a little bit of time and there are no more questions, so use the merge statement for capturing the insert updates and the deletes. So this works very, very fast. You can, and it can, it works very, very fast on the database. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time.
ESMC